Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Flagstaff, Arizona in a wonderful snowstorm. I thought I would do this right outside since it's so beautiful. Hardly any wind, a lot of snow. I've already, as you can see it blowing in, I've already shoveled the driveway twice, the patio. But it's just beautiful. It's just fantastic. So, first of all, if you want to celebrate a New Year's Day Eve in the snow, come out to Flagstaff. It's just beautiful. It really is. It's great. As you can see in the background, it's been snowing since early this morning. So since we're up here for New Year's, my patients keep on telling me, yeah, take a little time off, take a little time off. So, okay, well, I'm going to take a little time off. Even though we worked just before Christmas and right after Christmas, we're taking a little bit of time off for New Year's. Had the grandchildren up here having a wonderful time, enjoying their company because one of them, Josh, had his birthday, and so we celebrated that. First of all, I want to wish everybody, I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas holiday, and I wish everybody a wonderful, happy, healthy, and prosperous 2019 New Year for everyone. And I plan on continuing my work with not only fibromyalgia, but also with all the other areas of health, I think, that are important for individuals. You know what I did and this is the 2019 plans, and what has actually evolved and developed as far as fibromyalgia, not only in 2018, but most recently. You know, there's so many things. There's a lot of answers for fibromyalgia that people like to push, and a lot of patients, if they find something that they like, and it takes care of the pain or whatever, sleep problems or rashes or whatever, all the many different things that fibromyalgia patients have. Great. I'm so very, very happy for you. You know, many of them are all over the board as far as treatments are concerned. And I love the comments that a lot of the patients that have fibromyalgia or other health conditions related to fibromyalgia are actually using and they comment on them. You know, they hear something new, so they try it, and then they have different comments. Nervous system disorders, that's what central nervous system, that was some big thing that individual researchers found that was the answer for fibromyalgia. And so if you treat the central nervous system with antidepressants, that'll take care of it. Okay, well, if that helps your symptoms, then that's great. There were researchers in Canada, physical therapists, that were pushing lack of exercise. That was a big deal. I don't know about you, but any fibromyalgia patients that came in that were working heavily on exercise, it was horrible. I mean, the exercise for fibromyalgia patients, as I mentioned over and over, is actually something that can be helpful, but usually causes bad reactions for them. And many times they can't even get out of bed for a week after they try to exercise, or some exercise therapist puts them on some heavy load. I always tell patients, look, if you can do exercises, it's like eating an apple, a bite at a time, or like taking medication, a bite at a time. Don't overdo it. You know what kind of reaction you're going to have. Proper diet, and that's something that I think is very, very important, that I've pushed for years. There's anti-inflammatory diets where you take sugar, gluten, trans fatty acids, and dairy out of your diet. Many times that relieves symptoms for fibromyalgia patients literally within 72 hours or even sooner. I mean, it's just fantastic. But a lot of people find it very difficult to stay off of those things unless you have, say, gluten problem. Then you know you have to stay off of gluten. Otherwise, your reactions are pretty aggressive. I have a daughter that has to do that. She thought it was the end of the world until I showed her all the different foods that she could have. And now with new gluten-free products, it makes it a lot easier. Of course, make sure you read the ingredients, because oftentimes they'll have gluten-free products that taste better because of all the sugar and salt and so forth that they add, all the additives. PTSD, that was being pushed. Anybody that's been under stress or duress or assault or so forth. Yes, we do see a lot of military that are coming back that because of the war and so forth. It does trigger many different types of conditions, including fibromyalgia. And that's been proven research-wise many, many times, where physical, emotional, or chemical traumas do trigger fibromyalgia at a much higher level, shall we say. Drugs, of course, pharmaceutical products are out there. The Lyricas, the Tramadols, the Cymbaltas, Savellas, you name it. THC now. A lot of patients are going into marijuana. And CBD, that's something new that we've been working with patients for certain areas of their body. Amino acid treatment, that's another one that a lot of patients have tried. And some of the other attempts at treating fibromyalgia patients, one group of researchers found that the feet was actually the cause of the problem for fibromyalgia. Another one was the hands, and the vasculature in the hands was the cause of the fibromyalgia being triggered. Massage therapists push the massages, of course. If you got a deep tissue massage and you have fibromyalgia, forget it. You're going to be in a lot of worse pain. And that's just based upon 30 years plus years experience working with fibromyalgia patients. Myofascial release. If done properly, sometimes that does help, because a lot of fibromyalgia patients have numerous points of pain and so forth, and that can help. I love some of the comments that a lot of the fibromyalgia patients have made. And one of them is, unless you've lived with it and walked in my shoes, you really don't know. And that's so very, very true and important. The group that I work with is actually Dr. R. Paul Sinamani. He's had decades of research. He works out of UCLA. He is an MD. He has fibromyalgia. He's almost 90 years old. He works a full schedule, and he has fibromyalgia. And he developed a protocol of which I have been using, and I added onto with my book, Fibromyalgia, Falsehood, Fakers, and Facts. All the information is in there because it has a much faster response for patients. Look, by the time a fibromyalgia patient comes into my clinic, as I mentioned numerous times, they've tried everything like what I'm talking about. And they would like to have a fast response. And so what we like to see is give them something that they will have a faster response. We put them on a restricted hypoglycemic diet, and it's like a pre-protocol. It's a detox, very, very gentle liver and kidney detox, because of many of the medications and all the bad foods and so forth. And they have a much faster response oftentimes. But he found through his research that you're born with it. You have a genetic component. I've had some doctors say, which gene? Well, they're still working on that, but they have narrowed it down to a number of genes, at least a smaller number, shall we say, that they're working on to get the specifics on. But that genetic means that you're born with it, and many patients come in, I've mentioned over and over again, that you're born with it, and they've been going to doctors for years. And the doctors will say it's growing pains or one thing or another. They can't find an answer. Obviously, if you're in your 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it's not growing pains, believe me. It has so many different symptoms, and that is why so many doctors have problems as far as diagnosing fibromyalgia, because it ties into so many other conditions that we've covered before in many of my talks. By the way, all of these, this is number 48. And all of these, thank you very, very much for all your thumbs up, and Shelley, thank you very, very much. All of these have been saved on the Fibro Wellness Center. So if you want to go back and look at all the different topics I've talked about, not only fibromyalgia, but FDA and pharmaceuticals and all the different things that are related to so many other conditions that tie into fibromyalgia. And I'm sure you'll be able to find something in there that will be able to help you. All the information I have has been researched. I find it. I'm giving you right straight out of the book, so to speak. So our program works because it works on the condition. I've mentioned that over and over again. Many of you just want the symptoms taken care of. Look, I don't have time for this garbage. Just give me something to use so I can take it, and that way I'm back to work, or I can do this and that. And that's very, very difficult for patients, because especially if you're on medication and so forth, long-term problems they're going to have with you as far as the secondary side effects, and every pharmaceutical that you take has side effects. The FDA even mentions that, and I mention it over and over again. So I'm very, very happy with our program, except in 2019, I've decided that I'm not helping the patients enough, and especially because, as I mentioned before, every fibromyalgia patient has secondary conditions, and fibro makes them worse. And that's why it makes it more difficult for fibromyalgia patients to get better because of the secondary conditions, whether it be rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, lupus, you name it. There's 15 different ones that go up and down the line with these things. And so what I want to do is get more information from the integrated doctors and find out how they work with the secondary conditions along with fibromyalgia. So that's one of my goals in 2019. I'm also going to be training doctors. I've already started it, and on our protocol. And we do it not only in person, but I'm working more and more now in live videos like this. And I have certification, 12 certified educational units that I can actually train doctors with on this protocol in depth. And we can do it right through the line, just like I'm doing this live video now. I'm also expanding and doing seminars and conferences for fibromyalgia patients, fibromyalgia family members, and anyone interested in learning more about fibromyalgia. So we're going to be doing that not only in Phoenix, but hopefully we're going to be expanding out into other areas. If you're interested in having me come and talk, meet me personally, bring your problems, so forth, let me know, and we'll see what we can do as far as setting up a presentation in your area. And that way, we'll be able to help you understand more about what you have, even if you don't take our seminar, or even if you don't take our protocol. I think what information I give you as far as the history of fibromyalgia and all of the secondary side effects and so forth, I think will be much more helpful to understanding, not only for you, but also family members or anybody that might be interested. So I realize I don't have all the answers for these secondary conditions, because patients go through, the fibromyalgia patients go through, and they feel great. They can do normal things, but the secondary things, the osteoarthritis and the rheumatoids and all the other mentioned secondary conditions that really are problematic. I need to find out more information to help these, other than just what I do as far as chiropractic and physiotherapy and rehab and acupuncture and so forth, because some of those things don't work. Some of them don't work for your conditions. And if a doctor realizes that he has only a certain limited, restricted capabilities, he has to let the patients know and introduce them to other areas. Right now, I'm working a little bit closer to a physical therapist, not a normal physical therapist. He works specifically with soft tissue in a very gentle manner. And some other secondary health doctors that I'm trying to work with as far as the specificity as far as their program. Also some psychologists that specialize in the PTSD. So we're going to be working in a more integrated, related way to help the fibromyalgia patients and those that have all these other secondary conditions, to help you in a much more rounded fashion. That's my goal for 2019. And if you want that extra bit of information, please feel free to get in touch with us at Fibromyalgia Wellness Center, and I'll be able to talk to you either by email or by video or whatever it might be, phone calls, you name it. I do answer people's questions as much as I can. I want to thank each and every one of you for all the time. How much time have I used here? I want to make sure. Yep. I'll try to leave this up to about 15 minutes. And I want to thank everybody that's joined in. And everyone that has made comments. I want to thank you very, very much. I want to wish each and every one of you, again, a most joyous, happy, healthy, prosperous 2019. Hopefully, I'll be adding to the information to make all of these things for you in a much more enjoyable fashion. Whatever information I may be able to give to you. This is, again, number 48. And all those, again, have been saved, so you might want to look back and see what I may have said before. I thought I'd mention this. And again, I apologize last week. Boy, I'll tell you, I apologize that that dietary thing I tried to cover, I totally blew it. When it came down to Sunday, or when it came down to Monday, I thought Monday was Sunday. And I can't tell you how many other patients were confused also by all of the things that were happening because of the fact that we just got turned around. At that senior moment, or whatever it might be, I eventually got on at 3:30, and I mentioned to you that last thing you can do, worst thing you can do is worry about dieting over the holiday. Just enjoy yourself. I mean, if you're really, really, really concerned, go for the low glycemic, increase your vegetables, and reduce some of the other things to neutralize some of the products that are going into your body. That I think that would help. But otherwise, the stress that you put yourself under trying to go through a diet at this point would just not very good. Just relax, enjoy yourself, have a good time. Happy New Year, be safe, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday, 12:30, on another wonderful subject. Take care, Happy New Year again, and lots of love and blessings to each and every one of you. Bye-bye now.